Punchboard Media,
where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.
Party Gamecast, we'll show you what to play, giving you ideas when you don't know what to do or say. Party Gamecast, it's all fun and games, we'll show you new ideas to play. Party Gamecast, having fun is easy when you know what games to play. Party Gamecast, we'll show you what to play, giving you ideas so you can party away.
Welcome to the Party Gamecast, featuring the Party Gamecast, a podcast about party games and games you take to parties. I'm your moderator, Bruce. Joining me on the show is Rocky.
Hello.
Hey, how are you on this fine turkey day?
I'm good. I'm ready for some stuff.
Oh, we're gonna get to stuffing in just a couple of minutes.
Oh.
I promise you.
Oh,
my.
Oh, that's not what I meant.
Well, no, what?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna in a minute. Stuffing's happening.
Just sounded threatening. That's all.
I didn't mean to sound threatening. Would it be better? Hey, stuffing's gonna happen in a couple minutes.
He's talking about basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's on fire. Also joining us is Brian.
What's up?
Nothing much, Brian. How is your turkey day? I say, knowing that we're doing this before actual turkey day.
I'm sure it is great, the turkey day that's happening right now as we record this and not in the future.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Not
it
in the past.
Great Thursday that we are all enjoying right now.
You are totally immersed in a bathtub full of beans.
Yeah.
Why would you have beans for Thanksgiving? That's weird.
Also joining us on the show is Mike.
Hi.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm enjoying the gobble day.
Nice.
Which is totally happening right now.
This is literally what's going on as you hear this in your ear holes.
Yep.
Or was if you're not listening on actual turkey day.
Absolutely. The time thing is really getting to me now. Future, past, present, whatever.
Party games, it's what's for dinner.
Blue perfect.
It's getting transcendental in here.
Oh. Also joining us on the show is Marty.
Hey.
How are you doing, Marty?
I'm doing fantastic. My Thanksgiving will have been great.
Nice. Look at you being a part of what we're doing and not being needlessly weird about it.
I'm never needlessly weird.
I would argue.
I need to be weird sometimes.
Weird about it. But yeah, we're about to jump into the episode. This is our special Thanksgiving Day episode for 2020. So if it's like everything else in 2020, we're just going to be a little weird about it. Generally speaking, every year since, I don't know, the dawn of the show 11 years ago or whatever.
11 billion, yeah.
11 billion years ago.
You know, when the Earth cooled.
Yeah. Well, it was between when the Earth cooled and the Carter administration. Sometime
in there.
Yeah, sometime
in
in there.
60s.
When we started the show, back when it was just on radio and we weren't on TV.
We're sponsored by Cool Cigarettes.
Delicious, menthol, wonderful, masculine cigarettes.
Good for stamina.
Heavy in nutrification. So every year for Thanksgiving, we normally play like some common game that you're stuck playing at your house. Last year, I think, was when we did Clue and watched the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And I know we've done Scrabble and I think Monopoly. And
I remember playing Monopoly.
Did we do Yahtzee?
Yeah, we did Yahtzee.
Did you make us do that terrible rummy-based game you love?
Face 10?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we did that one. So for 2020, we've decided to take like a popular game trope that you may play on this fine holiday or fine holidays around. And we decided to pick just a new version that works out pretty well and goes pretty well on Zoom. This year, we're going to play Half Truth, the unholy alliance of Richard Garfield and Ken Jennings. But before we get there, we have a whole smorgasbord to present to you.
Smorgasbord?
A smorgasbord It is about time for What the Food!
What the food?
What is food?
Baby, don't hurt me no more. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I love that Bruce is also dancing to this.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
see.
you should
We're
see
on
the
Zoom.
video.
We're hardly even, most of us aren't even on video, but I am, and I can see myself, so I dance a little bit. So yeah, we are, this is sponsored by the Spewco organization.
Oh dear.
All the Spewco folks got together, all the different businesses, became a part of it, to make sure that we knew that we were sponsored for this. So, if for your holiday, you need to vomit somewhere, do it over there. Spewco. So, we have just there's a real thing that we're doing.
Sure is.
Rocky,
Hopefully.
would you like to tell the fine folks about what we're doing? And if at any point you want me to jump in, I will be glad to.
Oof, well, I'm gonna see if I can make it through.
Okay, if you
I'm
can't,
gonna try.
I'm prepared to help as need be.
Okay.
Okay.
It is made by the fine folks at Brock's. That's right, Brock's Candy. Turkey dinner candy corn. Just complete silence.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah.
That was deafening.
Oh, yeah.
I'm too busy salivating.
Would you like to hear
Yeah.
more about this turkey dinner candy corn?
I have a fever, and the only cure is you telling me about turkey dinner candy corn.
New to store shelves, a full course meal presented in a unique mix of candy corn flavors. Brock's turkey dinner includes all of the traditional Thanksgiving favorites, from roasted turkey, green beans and stuffing, to ginger glazed carrots, cranberry sauce, and sweet potato pie. Flavors include green beans, roast turkey, cranberry sauce, ginger glazed carrot, sweet potato pie, and stuffing. The sweet and savory Thanksgiving feast is available at your local Walgreens. Specifically.
No, specifically, I had to get this from a Walgreens. Other thing I had to do specifically, so if anything bad happens to any of us, you know. So I had to open up the bag and separate the candy corn by color, because there are different color candy corn for different color dishes.
Except 3 of them or 4 of them are different shades of orange.
Rocky, no, we're going to talk about that. There's a way to tell them apart. Okay, so so there's a bunch of different colors, but none of them are solid. So here's what I want to do. Everybody at home, I'm going to try to explain this for your ear holes. If you're watching here, folks, so we have 2 parts of the candy corn. We have the base of the candy corn and the tip of the candy corn. The tip of the candy corn is the little pointy part.
Okay.
The base of the candy corn is the big chunky part.
So
Which
tip's
the
the part
base
that-
should be the little part because that's where it connects to the cob.
So
The
you're right.
candy corn.
If the candy corn was part of a giant ear of candy corn, what I am calling the tip of the candy corn is what would be closest to the cob of the corn.
When
The
you say
kernel,
if, you mean back when it was, right? Before they picked it.
Before it was called, I don't know, rotten children's teeth or whatever I'm sure this candy was called before.
Delicious.
The part that would be the kernel of the corn, I'm calling the base of the candy corn. Because the only way to tell these apart is for me to give you a tip color and a base color for some of these.
Now, I believe we learned that a candy corn used to be called chicken feed.
That's what it was. It used to be called chicken feed.
Oh, you also saw that video.
In fact.
Yes,
Oh.
and I think I asked it for a series of Halloween questions for Extra Life, which coincidentally, well, let's take a quick moment. Thank you so much for your support of Extra Life. If you're out there, we've raised as a team over $5,000, which is the biggest year ever. So thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
That was that much. That's great.
really stunning. And over all of the years, we've raised more than $20,000 for the Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital in 7 years of doing it. So thank you, everyone. We give thanks for that. Thank you. So now on to these candy corn.
Oh.
So here's the first thing I want to do is no base and tip talk. I want to eat the green one.
Okay.
It's just completely green, and I am to assume, and God, I hope that they didn't do it this way, that this is going to be green beans.
So we're starting with what's going to be the best flavor?
Oh,
Yes.
You don't want to save
doubtless.
Yeah. Is that what y'all want to do? Okay, take the red
that?
one.
No,
We'll
no,
start with the red one.
no. We'll save the cranberries for last. That's fine.
I thought we would start with decent tasting ones so they'd be quick content.
You think
I'm sorry, which one was that?
No, I think green beans going to be trash. I think we should open with green beans.
Okay.
Yeah, let's open with green beans because they're going to be terrible.
So we're not starting with a decent tasting one.
No, we're starting with probably a bad one. To help everybody at home that are watching, green tip, green base, green candy corn. Are we ready, y'all?
Green all the way.
It smells like wax.
It smells sweet.
It smells like sweet wax. Here we go. Down the hatch or whatever.
No.
Oh, well.
Oh! It opened up as sweet wax, and I was ready to say, "Oh, it's just sweet wax."
That's what all candy corn does. It doesn't taste like anything at first. Now it tastes like butter and plants.
Yeah, like a raw green bean.
Yes,
Like a nice chlorophyll.
that is straight up uncooked green bean, but also wax candy.
Yeah, it's like waxy butter and plant.
Get out of my face.
Oh my word!
No.
Hmm?
No.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. Wow.
Cool. Nope.
So let's see.
0 out of 10 developed.
Yeah.
Now, does the package tell us what the different colors are,
No.
or do we have to guess as to which flavor is which?
We have to guess as to which flavor is which. There is no, unlike things from, I'm trying to remember the Jelly Belly, where they kind of give you a key. There is no key. They just tell you what the flavors are. They don't tell you which one is which is why we needed the Bruce Vogue candy corn tip and base identification system.
I mean, the green one is a pretty safe guess.
The green one I
The
thought was
green
pretty
and the
safe. So
red.
the next one.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad.
No,
It
it's fine.
wasn't good, Marty. What's wrong with you?
I didn't say it was good. I just said it wasn't that bad.
Did not like.
You're just like, I love the taste of wax and chlorophyll.
Who doesn't, Bruce?
Yeah.
It makes me sick. I just did not enjoy it.
I have to say, of these like gross out versions of these, because we've also done green bean the drink. Green bean soda was much worse than green bean the candy corn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the main flavor in this one was still sweet.
Yeah,
We've done some pretty bad sodas, though.
we've done some very bad sodas.
Ooh.
So for this one, I want the brown tip and the white base.
Okay. Wait. Hold yours up towards me. If I can say.
Brown tip, white base.
That could be turkey.
No. Wait. Hang on. I gotta walk over there. Because I have one that looks that.
Nope, there's one that's the exact opposite.
No.
Nope, there's a yellow base and brown tip, or
Nope.
orange and
No,
white.
that's a
and orange and
yellow.
That's not yellow.
Base. That's yellow.
I'm sitting in the dark. So it's this one.
Yes.
Okay.
White base, brown tip. Yes, that's it. Okay, so Rocky and I are on. She had to come from the other side of the. She came from the West Wing, ran over to the East Wing. I showed her. We're ready to go.
Dark over here. The other one, like the base looks white, but it's actually yellow.
Oh yeah. I get it.
Me.
I'm not sure what flavor this is. It's probably either. Yep, that's it. It's probably either turkey, carrot, or stuffing.
Or sweet potato.
I'm guessing carrot's one of the ones with orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't. This is more brown and orange, so I'm guessing this would be like turkey and stuffing, maybe.
Maybe, and just make sure, Marty.
Is there
There is
mashed
also a
potato?
yellow base. We want the white base.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I have the yellow base, so
Yeah,
yeah.
you want the white base.
Yeah, I had to pull them out and put them next to each other before
Yeah.
I could tell the difference. There's
All right, yeah,
just
I found the
didn't
white
sort
base.
all of these. So, are you with me, Marty?
Yep, I all the base are belong to me now.
Very good. Here we go.
Wow, going back 20 years for that one.
20, not just 20.
yeah, 20 back when that reference was still made.
Here we go. Oh God.
That's
Oh,
That is definitely turkey.
that's
yeah, that is a lot of turkey.
Oh my God.
that's sweet and
That
bouillon.
is sweet and turkey. This is like when you buy one of those donuts. It's a savory donut, but it's not good.
It makes it seem like you basted your turkey in maple syrup. Is what
Yeah.
the was telling me.
Oh,
Oh.
not good at all.
That's not the worst idea, but it's not a great idea.
That is.
That's such a weird piece of candy corn.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to be saying that a lot.
Good
It's
God.
roast turkey, not like fried turkey where it might taste like chicken and waffles or something. But like,
See, I'm almost getting like if somebody were to say we're going to make a chicken and waffles donut,
Okay.
That's almost what I feel like we got here. Like there's a little bit of some kind of poultry taste.
There's poultry, but the problem is there's like herby
Yeah.
from the roast. So you're getting like herbs and syrup and
God.
like somebody put a bouillon cube in there.
Gravy with syrup in
It is like gravy with syrup in it.
it.
So for the next one, just to get out of the way, let's do the yellow base and brown tip.
Okay.
I'm still working the turkey, man.
So how'd the turkey work for you, Marty?
That was intense.
Brought to you by our friends at Spuco. If you need to throw up, go over there. Okay. So it is, for those of you playing at home, if you have a bag of these,
Oh no. Wow.
now it's the yellow base, the brown tip. This has to be stuffing, right?
Like everything from here.
I would think.
I don't
never thought
know.
about
Let's
that.
find out together. 3, 2, 1, eat that thing. Oh!
What is it?
What am I tasting?
I think you're tasting stuffing. I think that's old bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, it definitely tastes stale.
It does taste like stale bread.
Oh my
specifically.
God! It is specifically very stale bread.
A very sweet stale bread.
Oh!
Not good bread, but like the stale bread that you buy pre-made, like the knockoff stovetop.
Yeah, this is like, God, it's like sweet stovetop.
It almost tastes misty.
So I'm wrong. They didn't all have to be better from there.
No, I agree with Brian. It almost tastes like a little musty. Like it's like you bought stovetop last year, and
Yeah.
the pantry is in your wet basement.
Yeah, it definitely has been sitting around someplace wet, and then
Yeah.
a lot longer than it needed to.
Yeah,
You know, it's well past its expiration date, and you made it anyway.
It's almost as if someone told the flavor engineers at Brock's, "Oh, make a stuffing candy corn," and someone said, "What's stuffing?" And they said, "Tom, what's stuffing? It's wet bread." And Tom went, "I can do that."
That is
Yeah,
very
wet
accurate,
bread.
Bruce.
It is as if someone who probably is not a native English speaker was given wet bread as a description.
Not an
And
English,
they were like, whatever.
not a native
maybe
English speaker, but still named Tom, mysteriously.
Yeah, it's real. Well, it's got an H in it.
Oh, well, that makes it.
Yeah, that makes it European. So, yeah, it's almost as if they said, "Oh, well," and Tom probably responded, "Well, when are you releasing it?" And they said, "Well, Tom, it's going to be out for Halloween." And he went, "Oh, okay, I get it now." And yeah, that might have been almost as much basement as zombie Skittles.
It did taste like it was near a zombie Skittle. It wasn't quite as bad as a zombie Skittle, but
It's like zombie Skittle with a lot sweeter.
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
most things are not sweeter than Skittles, but somehow these manage. So, what are the two flavors that aren't cranberry that are left?
Okay, so what's left is
Carrot?
ginger glazed carrot, sweet potato pie, and cranberry sauce.
Okay, I'm
Do
guessing.
we want the devil we clearly know and go with cranberry sauce?
I think I want to cleanse my palate with cranberries at the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
keep the
that's-
cranberries for the end. Everything else has been kind of scary. I can see cranberries kind of working with the overly sweet, but everything else is
Well,
not.
wait a minute. You got to do the pie at the end. You got to have dessert last, guys. That's
I
how
don't know which one's the pie.
Is it sweet potato pie or sweet potato like the side?
Sweet potato pie.
Oh, okay.
Oh my, get me a piece of that sweet potato pie.
I'm
Just like
guessing
Domino's
that's
told me back.
probably the white and orange.
Carrot.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
ginger and carrot.
Ooh.
Although
Ooh,
Oh, Bruce
sort
yelling
of
this
does
time.
it tastes like oranges because of the ginger.
yeah,
I'm getting like a orange pith flavor.
yeah. This is almost pleasant.
Yeah,
It's not.
No.
it is more ginger than carrot.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's got some like.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like sweet ginger, not tangy ginger, though.
This almost reminds
Yeah.
me of an oversteeped cup of tea.
Or you put some ginger ale in your tea.
Yeah, or you can put a lot of sugar in like it's your coffee.
But no, there is like a tea thing going on there. You're right.
No,
Yeah, that's not unpleasant. It's just weird.
yeah,
I
it
swear
is
it-
strange, but I didn't hate it.
I'm getting a like orange. It tastes like after you've juiced an orange, if you eat the pulp and it's all the sweetness is gone.
Yeah.
It tastes like that. I don't know.
So Rocky has put on her weird necklace,
Okay.
your collar.
It is unpleasant.
Really?
Yes, did not like.
Huh?
With the weird earthy vegetableiness of it. No,
I don't think I hate that part about it.
do not like.
Okay. So the last two we have are sweet potato pie and cranberry sauce. I would assume we should eat cranberry sauce now so that we can, in fact, finish with sweet potato pie.
I guess.
Correctly. All cranberry all the time. Here we go, y'all.
No, this is not the red of cranberry sauce.
No.
That's a weird... Okay.
So let's say you said, hey, Linda, why don't you bring over cranberry sauce? And she said, yippee skippy. And then she brought just mashed cherries.
No.
Seemed like the kind of thing Linda would do.
Brought like a bowl of bubble gum.
Oh, yeah, or like a bowl of bubble gum.
Bubble gum and cherries, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that first flavor was. I couldn't figure. I was like, "What is it?" It tastes like something familiar at first. It was bubble gum, and then it turned into like cherry soda.
Yeah.
Like not good black cherry soda, but just like cherry soda.
So, thanks, Linda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Thanks, Linda, for your mashed bubble gum and cranberry
Linda doesn't
soda.
listen to this, does she?
You know, I would have thought that cranberry would have been the easiest to do, but this is actually like the most from what it's advertised as.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have thought it would have been the closest, but yeah. Some of these I could have guessed. And some of these I never would have guessed because they're so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You would think because cranberry is like one note. It's just it tastes like there are cranberry flavored things that already exist. Just do that again.
Yeah. But no, we're gonna go out on our own. Tom, so we need to have you in the office to talk to you.
You mean Thom?
Stuffing. Hey Tom. So stuffing. Yeah, you want the wet bread? I gave you the wet bread. Yeah, Thom. So we're not gonna let you do anything complex anymore. Just give us cranberry, would you? Yeah, of course. No, Thom's just bad at his job.
And they don't have cranberries in whatever country he's from.
Exactly.
There are no
So he had to Google it.
And he was like, oh yes, red berries. Kind of like the bubble gum, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Red berries it's like a red currant. It looks the same.
We're on to our final. White tip. Brownish base.
I'm hoping that's
Orange, but sure.
Maybe. I hope that's whipped cream on top. We'll find out. This in theory should be the end. I only hope the snozberries taste like snozberries. Huh.
No.
There's just like a weird...
You can taste the clove.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can taste the like pumpkin pie spice that they mixed in there.
Yeah.
Clove and nutmeg. A little bit of earthiness from the potato. And like a sweet creamy thing.
Yeah. It sure is a thing they did.
Well, it's not bad. Oh, it's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Also, I've rarely had sweet potato pie, so I don't know. Like, I mean, I know what sweet potato and pie taste like, but like,
I regularly eat sweet potato pie. This is all the parts that are questionable.
Really regularly, huh?
And none of the good parts.
Regularly.
No,
every Tuesday?
Yeah, like it's sweet potato pie Tuesday.
Okay.
It's sweet but Tuesday. That's how we say it. We've been workshopping it for a long time.
Sweet Tuesday.
Sweet Tuesday. Sweet Tuesday. Oh my goodness. So here's what we're gonna do. Tell me your favorite, your least favorite, and would you take this whole experience to a party? How are we gonna do this? I'm gonna start with you, Marty.
So least favorite is by far the stuffing. I mean, that was just not good at all.
Okay.
And probably it'd be for the favorite, it'd probably be a tie between the ginger carrot and the kind of clovey pie.
Okay. And then would you take this whole experience, this Brock's turkey dinner candy corn experience, to a party?
I mean, just to see the look on people's faces when they do the turkey and the stuffing.
Completely understandable. Brian, how about you? Tell me your favorite, your least favorite, and would you take this whole contraption to a party?
I think I'm kind of on the same track as Marty. My favorite's either the carrot or the sweet potato pie. They're not, neither one's amazing, but they tasted the most like what they're supposed to. Okay. My least favorite was the stuffing because it tasted musty. It tasted like not food as opposed to like a weird food. And yeah, I would totally take it to someplace just for the experience of like having people taste test weirdness and seeing their expression when they realize they've bitten into a bouillon cube disguised as a candy corn.
Now, here's the thing to ask. Are you telling them what's going on like we did here where we tried to like discern what was going on? Or are you just like dumping a bowl of candy corn and just letting them like grab 4, throw them in their mouth and work it out?
Well, I hadn't thought of that, but now that you recommend it, I mean, I feel at the point that they see that they're weird colors, they're going to know that they're not normal. But like, if I saw a green candy corn, I wouldn't assume it's green bean flavored. I'd think it's lime or something.
So I would grab a red and a green thinking they're like either not flavored or like lime and cherry. And I'm going to make a cherry lime Ricky. And I'm going to end up with a cranberry green bean Ricky.
Well, no, you'd still end up with cherry with these red ones.
I suppose that's true.
But yeah, no, I would totally take it just for the fun of it. Because they're not offensively bad other than maybe the stuffing. And even that's like, it's not zombie Skittle bad. It's just, why'd I eat
No,
that?
it is zombie Skittle bad. It's just sweet with a chaser, sweet chaser.
Yeah. It's not as like, maybe I should spit this out now as a zombie Skittle. Whereas it's just unpleasant. Like a zombie Skittle, I was like, my mouth is telling me this isn't food and I shouldn't eat it.
Fair.
Yeah.
So Mike did not eat any of them, but you were here for the whole thing happening. Would you take it to a party?
Yeah, I would, because just as someone who has not eaten them, sitting back and watching other people eat them is all sorts of entertainment. So I can tell you that if you have already tried them, you should definitely take them to a party and then put them in a bowl, mix them up, don't tell anyone what they are, and watch. Sit by the bowl and watch.
I almost want to like grab a couple at a time and just see how it all tastes together in my mouth.
But obviously not right now because COVID. But maybe next year.
Yeah. Well, I have a bunch of them sorted out right now. I can throw a couple in my mouth. Maybe that'll happen sometime during the show if things get real boring. Rocky.
Yeah.
That never happens in our shows, Bruce.
Indeed.
No.
Favorite, least favorite, would you take it to a party?
I have no favorite. I hated all of them. I don't know what's well, okay. All of them were less bad than the green beans. That is my least favorite. Was the green beans.
Really? You like the stuffing better than the green beans?
I didn't say I liked it.
Well, I said
But better than green beans?
Yeah.
That was wet basement.
I mean, no. No, the green bean.
Oh my goodness.
I can't tell you why. The stuffing was not good.
No.
For some reason, the green bean offends me much more.
Huh.
I think you should offer them to the cat.
Yeah, the sweetness combined with the vegetableness, I just couldn't. I couldn't. Oh my god, I just can't. You guys, oh my god.
Oh my word. Take it to a party?
Yes, and actually, I was gonna dump them in a bowl and see what happened. However, they're still candy corn. No one's gonna eat it anyway.
Yeah, that is all.
I would eat them. I like candy corn.
Well, then you should.
Why it has such a bad rap?
Yeah, then that's what you get.
I think the whole world's breathing a sigh of relief this year. If there's one good thing that came out of 2020, it's that you can't be near enough people to dump this into a bowl, and people just think it's normal candy corn.
This is the silver lining, huh?
We're looking for it everywhere we can find it, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say, I did not. I notably did not like wet basement. I notably did not like strangely cooked chicken and waffle donut. I was kind of okay with oversteeped cup of tea. Oversteeped cup of tea I genuinely enjoyed. I thought it was pretty all right. I would definitely not hesitate to take this to a party. I would say out there, if someone tells you about this, and for some reason you only listen to moments, 27 to 30 where I'm talking now, go get a bag and follow along at home, because this is a real party. I very much enjoyed this. This was the amount of gross where I know I ate something gross, but not the amount of gross where I'm genuinely scarred by it. Like the durian... the durian pirouette roll, or the Skittles that tasted like mold.
Yeah, I still never got one of the zombie Skittles out of that bag. I only got the regular ones.
I had to eat like 3.5 bags before I found one.
Yeah.
I generally don't like Skittles. There were 2 flavors that I did. They had black cherry and one other one were actually good.
The black cherry was fantastic. That was
I was glad because normal Skittles flavors I kind of hate. They're like one of my less favorite candies.
Well, let me tell you, Basement was a bad Skittles flavor.
Yes, yeah, musty gym bag you found in the basement
Yeah.
is not a good flavor.
I would say Wet Basement candy corn is better. And I never thought I'd think candy corn made it better anything. But their Wet Basement flavor is better than Zombie Skittles.
So they got the taste of Wet Basement correct, is what you're saying?
They got the taste of Wet Basement sweet enough that it's palatable.
Well, I think because they accidentally landed on it as opposed to aimed for it. Because Skittles aimed for it.
Terrified if Tom with an H had been aiming for it.
Well, he might have made it accidentally taste good if he tried to make it taste bad, and he's just that bad at it.
That is also true.
This is the best candy corn ever. What's it called? Dumpster water.
Really? You got to this from dumpster water?
It tastes like ambrosia. Just sweet and fruity.
So there you go, folks. That was certainly What the Food, sponsored by the Spuco conglomeration. If you need to throw up these candy corn fries, a good reason why.
You into this?
We're about to head into the next part of the show. First, I want to thank everybody that supports us on Patreon at patreon.com. That's how we can do some of the weird things that we do. I want to thank our Patreons at the $10 and above level for your support. I want to thank Stephen Quaid, Jerry Reese, Brian Ganninger, Mike Cooper, and Power to the Meeple at powertothemeeple.com. They are our main sponsor for the show. And before we go into our episode, let's talk about Power to the Meeple at powertothemeeple.com. They not only support us, they support a lot of fantastic other shows, and they also support the Spiel Foundation. Spiel Foundation, which I'm now technically, I think, a part of somehow. I'm on the show. I'm helping them with the Spielathon, so that's a thing I do now. When you buy things from Power to the Meeple, it goes to the Spiel Foundation. The Spiel Foundation sends games out to children's hospitals and senior centers all over the world, I think, at this point. I know at least in the U.S. and Canada. So fantastic work they're doing. If you check it out now on the Power to the Meeple website, and probably as you listen to this, it's there. It is the Turkey Day Asmo Day special.
Asmo Turkey Day.
Through earlier, Asmo Turkey Day.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Asmo Turkey Day special.
Asmo Turkey Day.
Yeah, I just walked all over that.
That's
they
fine.
have some nice discounts on a lot of these games.
Yeah. It's 10% off their already low prices through the 29th. This right now, as we do this, is a couple days before that, and I'll be editing tonight and tomorrow. You can't tell when that is, but in the past. So you should actually still be able to go get this deal because we're doing a rushed edit because we want to be out for Turkey Day here in the U.S., or as the rest of the world calls it, Thursday. So, yeah.
Unless you're over the national date line, in which case... Unless you're over the international date line, in which case you don't call it Thursday.
Yeah, then you call it
Yesterday.
Friday. Or maybe Wednesday? No, you're probably always calling it Friday.
Yeah, they don't go backwards in time when you go across the date line.
I can't tell. Isn't that how Phineas Ferb did it?
Sure.
No. Phineas and Ferb were a cartoon.
Yeah, that was a cartoon. Are you talking about Phineas Fogg?
I am! I mixed them up with Phineas and Ferb, the cartoon,
yes.
The Nickelodeon Cartoon Network characters. Yeah,
I'm even more confused. What's a Phineas Fogg?
Phineas Fogg was the guy in Around the World in 80 Days.
Yes.
Oh, that was one of the classic literature things I never actually read.
No. Oh, okay. Well, so spoiler alert.
He goes around the world.
Spoiler alert.
Wow.
He goes around the world, almost loses his bet, but the international date line.
Oh, yeah. I guess if you're in the right direction, you'll lose a day.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that's how he ends up winning. Oh, womp womp, spoiler alert, 100-year-old book, spoiler alert.
Yeah, public domain book. Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, y'all. So now we're about to head into our next part of the episode, once again sponsored by the fine folks, Power to the Meeple, powertothemeeple.com, Asmo Turkey Day special. Still going on, get those games. Games. So we are now about to talk about our game of the episode. So normally we do like an ultra classic here, like Trivial Pursuit or Scrabble or Yahtzee or Clue. Or this time we decided to just take trivia as a group and pick a good trivia game that's better to play in these times than Trivial Pursuit, and also better to play in not these times than Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, what it comes down to is Bruce did not want to play Trivial Pursuit again.
I didn't want to play Trivial Pursuit again.
Well, we already did it, so we should have did it anyway.
Yeah.
Never have to play it again.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do the thing where we try to play like Trivial Pursuit, the video game, together. No, unacceptable.
No.
It's out there, but I won't do it. So this time we are playing, and I'm going to put it up to the camera as if the camera can see it, Half Truth The combination of Richard Garfield and Ken Jennings working together from Nighthawk Games Studio, which is apparently a games studio. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'd never heard of them.
Yeah, I think they just did this. So Richard Garfield, you're going to know from probably Magic the Gathering, but maybe, what else? Let me look over. King of New York, King of Tokyo, Filthy Rich, maybe you know that one. Robo, what?
Netrunner, if you're into that sort of thing.
Was Netrunner his too?
I'm reading it off their website, so yes.
Very good. Robo Rally.
Yep.
Rally, I think, was him.
Oh, wow, he did Vampire.
He apparently also did Vampire.
I guess
the collectible card game.
Yeah, the one that was originally Jihad.
Yes.
Okay, yep. Because I know Mark Ryan-Hagen did Vampire because I worked on a project with him and I had never really heard of Vampire before.
Yes, yeah, not The Masquerade, but the other one.
What project was that, Bruce?
That was, wait a minute, I have to look on the shelves, Democracy Majority Rules, which seems so quaint now.
Doesn't it?
So yeah, he did a whole bunch of stuff. And then Ken Jennings, you may know as a guy who won a lot of money on Jeopardy. And maybe the host of Jeopardy, question mark?
Well, he's going to be a host of Jeopardy for sure.
Yeah, he's the interim host. We'll see how long that interim goes.
Yeah.
So before we get into this, let's have this roundtable discussion.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about trivia games. I feel like we got to talk about this.
Yeah, so Alex Trebek passed away. Obviously, you know that because 2020 is horrible.
Yeah.
And they're going to be showing his last episode, I think either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, the last one that he actually taped. After that, they're going to go into episodes looking for a new host. I know in the quizzing community, the discussion was that for a long time, it was going to be Ken Jennings. And then Alex Trebek died, and the world was like, would you say? And now the world's posting all kinds of people. So, like, anybody out there, feel free to jump in. Any thoughts about Alex Trebek and the whole thing of Jeopardy and the changes? And there's just a lot, like, first of all, any, like, opinions on Alex Trebek and kind of his place in popular culture?
Well, I know in the U.S. and Canada, he's pretty massive. Like, everyone knows him. He hosted it since 1980. I want to say 4 or 6.
I think 84.
Something like that.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been doing it forever. He had been doing it forever. And from everything that I've been reading, like, everyone liked him. He was just a nice guy in addition to, all the other stuff he did. He was very active. I think he was from Ottawa. He was very active in donating and charity stuff up there in particular. So all of Canada kind of loved him. All of the U.S. kind of loved him because it's hard not to know who he is in the U.S. He's been on TV for 11 billion years now.
Oh, yeah.
There have been jokes about Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live where someone was playing him. And oh, God, I just realized that, like, most of the people, even that they were spoofing in that, are gone now because Sean Connery also passed away.
Oh, yeah.
God, 2020.
No doubt.
What a year. Anyway, but yeah, he's just a sort of mammoth figure that for most of us, like, he's just been sort of an institution. He is Jeopardy. Like, it's hard to imagine a Jeopardy without him.
He's one of a limited amount of figures anywhere in media that has been constant for so long.
Yeah, it's like Pat Sajak in the U.S., who's been doing Wheel of Fortune for probably about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like Bob Barker was Price is Right.
Yeah.
Or like, because help me, Mike, because you know hockey better than I do. But Don Cherry had that kind of long-lasting thing, didn't he?
Yeah, we try not to talk too much about Don Cherry anymore because he's a little controversial these days.
Oh, okay. I only knew him for the Suits. I didn't know he became a bad person.
Oh, the Suits are amazing. He has been notorious for the Suits for decades because those suits haven't been in style since ever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, so it's like Hulk Hogan, where every time I talk about Hulk Hogan, I have to remember to remind everyone that Terry Bollea is trash. Terry Bollea, by the way, the man who played Hulk Hogan, absolute human garbage. Hulk Hogan, American Icon. Strangely enough,
yeah,
the
but Don
character's very
Cherry is
important.
just Don Cherry.
Yeah,
Like,
but
he's
it's
not
just Don
playing-
Cherry. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I would say Howard Stern might be another figure that's been around like that long, just somewhere in media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone. I mean, there are some other ones, but like, I don't think anyone has been like so universally known because he's been on basic, terrestrial television on a
Yeah.
network for what is it, 35 years?
Yeah.
Almost 36. Or, yeah, probably about 36 years now. Just, yeah, that's an insane amount of time to be doing the same thing in the public spotlight. Never have changed anything.
Yeah, no controversies or, I mean, he doesn't I don't know a ton about his personal life, but like Mike said, everything I know, he always seems like a nice guy. And usually when people like that don't make the headlines, it's because they're normal. And there's just nothing interesting to they don't have, TMZ worthy drama going on. So TMZ doesn't report on them.
Yeah, it's really unusual to see that.
Yeah, it's nice, though.
Indeed. It seems to be, now I've stated many times anywhere anybody will listen to me, I don't really think Jeopardy is a good game exactly, but I know that it means a lot to a lot of people. And one of the things I think Alex Trebek seemed to have meant to a lot of people is that being smart matters. And not just being smart in some particular way, not just being a STEM genius and selling your whatever creation you've built for a lot of money and more or less being rich rather than smart. Like if you look at Elon Musk, a lot of people look to him as just a figure that is very wealthy.
Oh, you mean the second richest person in the world?
Yeah, now the second richest person in the world. Bill Gates, the person he beat, being the third richest person in the world. But when you think of them, like there's definitely this, but they're smart people, but they're really rich. And it seemed to be that Trebek represented sort of a smart for smart's sake, which is strange because Jeopardy is a game that you go on to win money, but not enough to matter.
Unless you're Ken Jennings.
Unless you're Ken Jennings to bring it back around.
You have to be really brilliant to do that.
You have to win 70 plus in a row, and then you can make actual money.
Indeed. So, we just talked about Ken Jennings, one of the potential hosts, or will be one of the hosts in the interim for the show. Anybody you're looking to see be a part of this interim thing in the interim hosts that are coming around?
Well, Richard Dawson's not still around, is he?
No, Richard Dawson's very dead.
That would be incredible.
The problem is Richard Dawson's type of handiness. The amount of just the amount that he wanted to hug and touch people.
Yeah, I think you meant handsiness, not
I did mean handsiness.
Yeah, Andy, he was fixing stuff on the set all the time.
Yeah,
he was also
the only thing he was fixing on the set is a drink.
Yes, too true. Rocky, is there anybody because I know you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you would want to see in this group? Maybe not necessarily the future host, but somebody you would want to see be in the group of people.
I'll be honest, it's not a thing that I put a ton of thought to.
Okay.
I know the internet very much wants LeVar Burton.
I very much want LeVar Burton.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man, that'd be great.
LeVar Burton feels like... say it again, Brian?
Sorry, he has a similar vibe, kind of that, this whole Reading Rainbow thing of, knowing stuff is its own goal, Not like, I'm smart so I can make a bunch of money, but hey, reading's fun because it makes you better.
Yeah, which I was actually listening to a discussion today. Well, actually, let me also go because we haven't heard much from Marty. Marty, is there anybody in the world that you've heard or seen about that you would care about being a part of this? Or is it just not a thing that's hit the shores of Marty?
Yeah, I'm really bad about when it comes to remembering people's names and hosts, but I could see LeVar Burton do it, but really that's the only one I can think of.
Oh, that's fair. That's very fair. They're talking about George Stephanopoulos possibly having a shot at it. I think Meredith Vieira is kind of always in these discussions because she's hosted so many game shows.
Yeah. She has, and I always forget that she has. I just remember her as a TV pundit.
I also heard somebody bandied about Katie Couric.
Ooh.
As a possible, and a lot of these I don't know. LeVar Burton's my favorite so far, but I'd want to see him on screen. He may not work in the role, but I'd want to see it. I feel the same way about Katie Couric. I can't imagine Katie Couric doing it, but I'd like to see it.
I can see that. I mean,
Maybe.
She's got the interviewing skills already, obviously. There's probably not many of those contestants who'll know more about like politics and current events than she does.
Or at least politics and current events of the 1990s.
I'd imagine she probably has kept her hand in. It's hard to do that for as long as she did and at a level that she did and not, be interested in it.
Yeah.
True.
What about the lady who used to host The Weakest Link?
I can try to remember her name, the British woman that did it for forever. Maybe. Or maybe they bring Jane Lynch over from the new Weakest Link.
Yeah.
That could potentially be a thing. I've heard Neil deGrasse Tyson mentioned. Is it possible?
Yeah, that's possible.
Bill Nye.
Bill Nye. I like the idea. I don't like the idea of a former champion getting it. I like the idea of somebody that actually is a TV host.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Trebek was not. I read that he had a philosophy degree from the University of Ottawa, and then he got put on another show first. He was on Wheel of Fortune first.
He was also he was on CBC before anything, Canadian Broadcasting Company.
Right.
And the reason he got all of his ability to move through the Canadian Broadcasting Company was because they put him in the English half of the company, but he could also speak French.
Okay.
So anytime they needed like a Frenchy froggy French for a minute, they had Trebek available. Apparently the CBC gave really good benefits, so he had time off. So he took 2 weeks off, flew to LA to do High Rollers. I believe it was High Rollers.
It was probably a Merv Griffin, because I know he got into the Merv Griffin sort of orbit.
Yeah. He was, I think they're saying he was, I don't know if this stat's right, so I apologize out there if I'm wrong, that he was the only host to have 3 game shows at the same time, all in production. Wow. He was doing Jeopardy, High Rollers, and Classic Concentration at the same time.
Wow.
But he's had a ton of stuff. He did Double Dare, but not the Double Dare you're thinking.
There's no slime involved.
A far less cool Double Dare. So yeah, I'm waiting to see what becomes of this. I really hope, God, please let this happen, that one episode Will Ferrell does it as Alex Trebek.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be great.
Just one. I don't want more than one. I don't want to test him out. I don't want him to get the job. But I want one episode.
Do you think he should do it as Alex Trebek or as Will Ferrell?
As Alex Trebek.
I think he should do actual Jeopardy as Will Ferrell.
2 episodes.
That's
one,
the joke.
Will Ferrell as Alex Trebek. Other one, Will Ferrell as Will Ferrell.
If he does the as Alex Trebek, it better be a celebrity.
It has.
Yes. I would love that if we did one throwaway
real celebrities
episode where Anderson Cooper plays the role of Connery.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I don't think he can get the accent.
Probably not.
Anderson Cooper does not strike me as someone who does good accents.
Yeah.
No, not at all. So we've explored both halves of the design team here in really far more detail than we ever do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into the game. Who wants to tell everybody how you play Half Truth?
I'll go ahead. It's pretty simple. Basically, there's 2 parts to the board. There's the guess track, and then there's the progress track. So the heart of the game is basically a deck of cards. On every card, there's a question and then 6 answers. Of the 6, 3 are correct and 3 are wrong. And you have to guess which ones are correct in order to score points. If you can guess 1, 2, or 3. If no matter how many you guess, if any of them are wrong, all of your answers are discarded and you get nothing. If you guess just 1, there's a die that you roll. Before you roll a die first, and then you get the card, and the die tells you how many spaces you're going to move along the track, and if there's another secondary effect. If you get 1 right, you get whatever the die says happens. If you get 2 right, then you get the die plus a victory point, which is separate from the movement track. The victory points are actually how you win at the end. And there's other effects on the die, like there's one side of the die that says you have to get wrong answers, and then you just have to pick the 3 that are wrong. And then at the end of the round, once one person gets the last track last position on the track, Then that round ends. Everyone gets a number of additional victory points equal to wherever they are on the track, in addition to however many victory points they earned by guessing extra answers. Then you go to the next track. There's 3 tracks. Each one has slightly bit higher point values. At the end, once you've cleared the 3rd track, whoever has the most points wins. It's pretty much that simple. I don't know if I missed any major details.
No, I think that pretty much gets it. The scoring is a little weird only because it's the one thing that sounded weird as you were saying it. So if you're listening, you're saying it sounded weird when Brian said moving on the track versus victory points. That's weird no matter how you got to this. Whether you watch the video where they explain it, whether you read the rules, whether somebody tells you. It's very strange because the die essentially tells you how many steps forward, but steps forward have a relationship with points, but they aren't points.
Yeah, not only at the end of the round do they really have a relationship with points.
Yeah, you want to move the most on the track because that means at the end of the round you'll get the most extra points. But you could score enough extra points during the round by guessing 3 right every time to kind of make up for not finishing the track first. But chances are, if you're getting 3 right on every one, then you're also moving every round, and other people might not get any right. So, it's not really a press your luck exactly, but it's sort of a press your luck of like, I know this one's right. Let me guess at another one, or should I play it safe and know that I'll get 1 but no points, but I'll move on the track. And that's kind of the strategy of the game. It's pretty much trivia. It's simple stuff like historical events or whatever, pop culture, all kinds of different stuff.
Although it's not just all pop culture, there's a lot of science and history and
there's history.
It's general trivia. There's sports.
When Bruce was giving us sort of the rundown of how to play it, we did an example question, and the question was very, very pop culture, and I knew none of it. So, and I was really worried because I'm not typically very good at pop culture stuff, but there was a wide variety when we started to play the game.
And that's why you won.
Well, yes, but I didn't win by much. I was only like 2 points ahead of Marty, I think.
Yeah, I was only maybe 3 behind you also, or 13.
I was way back. But let's give you a couple questions what we're talking about. These are actual questions from the game. So if you play the game, and you remember that I said it to you, I've already spoiled it for you. I'm sorry.
Skip ahead 2 minutes.
We're going to start with the one that Mike talked about. That was the one that I used to explain the game to everybody. The card's pretty brilliant. It goes right on the board. You have chips. They're just heavy poker chips. If you've ever had kind of one of those, like one of the sets of poker chips everyone bought when the poker boom hit that have like the metal slug in the middle, it's essentially those. Or if you played Splendor, it's the same ones from Splendor. When you're playing it, you have A, B, C, D, E, and F. They are in your individual color. There are 6 colors. They have a question mark on one side and the letter on the other. You pick the ones you're going to put, you put them out, and then you place them on the board. The way they've made the card sits right on the board. Each answer is aligned with one of the letters, and then you just flip it over and look at where the chips are. Here was the question Mike got that made him upset because it was pop culture.
It didn't make me upset. It made me worry about the rest of the game.
Rappers whose real first name is Christopher. And you had the Notorious B.I.G., Exhibit, Ludacris, Frank Ocean, Common, and 50 Cent. Now remember, a die would be tossed. Now, if the die says 4 steps, if you get anything right, you might know one of these, go for the one you want, and call it a day. If it says you're going to move 1 step forward with a plus, which means you're going to double all bonus points, you might say, well, I think I know 2 Chris's on there. I think I'm going to try for 2 Chris's. I think that's probably the best way for me to go. So this is the push and pull of what you're doing. You're always going to get 6 answers. 3 are always right. 3 are always wrong. So once again, Notorious B.I.G., Exhibit, Ludacris, Frank Ocean, Common, and 50 Cent. You need to tell me which rapper's real first name is Christopher. Think about it for a second. Pause if you need to now, because I'm about to tell you what the answers are. The Christophers that are on here are the Notorious B.I.G., Ludacris, and Frank Ocean. It also tells you on the card, Exhibit's real first name is Alvin. Common's real first name is Lonnie, and 50 Cent's real first name is Curtis. So that's an example of one question that's in here. There's another one I want to do just because it makes me kind of smile. And I don't think any of you have, Brian and Rocky might have, but I know Mike and Marty haven't. Monopoly tokens retired in the 1950s.
Oh, in the 50s. Okay.
Okay, you have the rocking horse, the cane, the purse, the shoe with spats, the lantern, and the iron. I'm going to put it up on the screen there so that everybody can see it. For those of you at home, once again, the rocking horse, the cane, the purse, the shoe with spats, the lantern, and the iron.
I know which one it's not.
Yeah, I also know which one it is definitely not, because when I was a child, that one was still around.
Fair enough. So then we'll try Mike for this one. Mike, how many would you be going for? What's any situation, and which ones do you think they are?
I'd probably just go for one.
Okay.
Because I'm not entirely sure of those. And it's worth saying at this point that one of the die faces is a 2 with a couple exclamation points.
Yep.
Which means that you have to give wrong answers.
Yes. And I'm showing it to Mike on the screen.
Yes. At that point, I would definitely give the wrong answer that I am sure of.
Yes.
Which is the iron. That I am sure is a wrong answer.
Yes.
That was not retired in the 50s.
Yes. But
it was retired now, but not in the 50s.
We asked you for correct answers.
Yes, the correct answer, I would guess something like the lantern,
Okay.
probably.
So everything you're hearing in Mike's voice is what you're doing in this game. It is exactly what Mike did. I know the iron isn't a right answer, so I'm down to 5. Of the 5 that are there, which one do I think might work out? Marty, do you have any input on this one?
Can you show the card again?
Absolutely. I'm going to put up there once again. For those of you listening, Monopoly tokens retired in the 1950s. Rocking horse, cane, purse, the shoe with spats, the lantern, and the iron.
So I'm pretty sure it's going to be the rocking horse and the third one. What was it?
The purse?
Purse, yeah. Because I know those were in it at one point.
Okay.
So those were the 2 I would guess for.
Now, Brian, Rocky, do you remember this from before?
Nope.
Okay, then Rocky, what are your answers?
I'm just gonna say rocking horse.
Just the rocking horse. How about you, Brian?
Yeah, I think that would be my safe bet. I'm not confident on any of the others.
Now, just so everybody knows out there, we're saying it, we hear each other's answers, and don't worry about that. When you're playing, you have a set of poker chips. You just lay face down the poker chips. People only know that you answered a number of questions, and really, they don't necessarily need to look at that. You can hold them in your hand, and nobody sees anything. But here, we just want to do it for radio, so it's going to be a little bit different. Kind of like when we do a live playthrough. So, Monopoly tokens retired in the 1950s. The correct answers are the rocking horse, the purse, and the lantern.
Nice.
The cane was never a token. The shoe with spats was never a token. The iron was retired in 2013.
Yeah, I remember that was around when I was a kid, and it was just recently retired.
I think there was a boot or something, but not a shoe.
Yeah, there was a boot.
Yes.
There was also a train.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a battleship.
Yeah, I remember the battleship.
I'm going to give you one more question just so everybody, because I feel like in a game like this, we can tell you about the mechanisms, but really what matters is, does the trivia hold up? And in the past, when we've talked about trivia party games, Mike has stood on his side of it, and he's not entirely wrong, that when you talk about a game like, for instance, Wits and Wagers, it is not a trivia game.
Definitely not.
I think it kind of is, but I think that the most important thing, once you've heard the mechanisms, you're like, oh, okay, it sounds kind of cool. You need to hear a question. And when you hear a question to Wits and Wagers, you suddenly you're in Mike's camp where you go, oh, it's not a trivia game, but it's kind of based on trivial things cool. Or you say, oh, I see where it's a trivia game. But the question's really where you feel your way out. I think it's the same with this, is once you kind of get a feel for what these questions are going to do, you can tell whether this is the type of trivia you want in on. I'm going to do one more for you. This one's not really academic, but not exactly pop culture. This one is words once protected as trademarks.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Words once protected as trademarks.
So that's kind of pop culture because, yeah.
Exactly. But it's also kind of business. Like, the question's being written by Ken Jennings. He did from what I understand from like this was a Kickstarter originally, and now you can find it everywhere. But a lot of what it was Ken Jennings kind of had these question ideas and took it to Richard Garfield. Richard Garfield was like, but there isn't a game here. And Richard Garfield kind of hammered it into a game. So you're seeing the brilliance of Ken Jennings' writing on a lot of these
Richard
questions.
Garfield gamifying it.
Yeah, he's real good at gamifying stuff.
Yeah, as much as I'm not necessarily, I don't know how pro the camp I am for Ken Jennings being the host of Jeopardy. He is a brilliant trivia mind, and you see it in questions like this. So here is your next one, and your final one we'll cover, because I don't want to expose too many cards if folks out there are going to grab it. Here's your third and final one. Words once protected as trademarks. Elevator, aspirin, trampoline, videotape, toothpaste, and gasoline. Once again, elevator, aspirin, trampoline, videotape, toothpaste, and gasoline. Rocky, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go 2 because I know none of them. And what do I have to lose? We're not really playing.
It's not. There's no money on the line.
Swing for the fence.
Aspirin and trampoline.
Aspirin and trampoline. Mike?
I would also go 2. I would go aspirin and gasoline.
Okay. Marty?
I'm going to go trampoline and gasoline.
Okay. Brian?
I'm going 2, aspirin and trampoline.
Okay. Now, here's the beauty. I'm hosting the game, but the questions, one side shows all of the categories or the clues. The other side shows the answer, so I can play as well. So this time, I'm going to go with elevator and aspirin. Elevator and aspirin. And the answers are, Bruce is wrong. It is aspirin, trampoline, and videotape.
Yeah.
Really?
I thought that might be the third one.
And videotape.
Bonus point for Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because Rocky went for 2, she would have gotten the number of steps on the die and also would have gotten a bonus game point.
I'm really surprised they didn't go with dumpster as one of those answers.
Yeah.
Because it is properly spelled with a capital D.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It is a dumpsters like Kleenex.
Yep.
So yeah, there you go. That gives you a real solid idea of what this game is. It is that for about 20 questions. I've seen games end in as few as 14. I've seen them take as many as 19 and 20. The game times to about, this is assuming you're not really moving slow, that you're moving at like party game pace where you're talking a little bit and things like that. We also, all my games I have of it are on Zoom. So I'll real quick kind of tell you how you run it on Zoom. Is literally one person sits with all the chips and all the answer and all the everything next to them, points a camera down at the board, which for me, I've done it both with a webcam. I point at it as if you can see me point at the webcam, and also with an iPad where I just face the iPad to the board, and both work fine. You ask the questions, you have everybody either write down their answers on a piece of paper where they're located, or you just assume everybody's trustworthy and they tell you which answers they're going to put it on. I usually lay the chips out and then award the points as needed. And it is that simple. It runs that easily if you're going to do it on Zoom. And everybody else, I've only played it from the host side. Everybody else has played it from where they are, including how we reviewed it for this episode. So you can tell me kind of how effective that is. So yeah, a perfectly reasonable Zoom game. It sure is trivia. There are 500 questions in the box. So I would say you have a minimum of 25 games before you repeat questions. I will also tell you I have seen that trademarks question before and did answer honestly and did get it wrong. So maybe you have a better memory than I do, but if you don't, this is it's going to seem fresh after all 500 questions.
Yeah, that's a thing with every trivia game, though, is if you play it enough, you know all the answers.
Yes. And I would assume unless you really start actively trying to play the hell out of it, they might end up making more questions before you run your way all the way through this.
Yeah.
And by they, you mean Ken Jennings.
Yeah, and by they, I mean, although then again, with Ken Jennings with the new
he's
gig,
going to be a little bit busy. So
yeah, so hopefully maybe he's turned the reins over to another question writer who hopefully can do a decent job on this. So I'm going to jump over to Marty. Marty, any opinions on this? What are your thoughts? Would you take it to a party?
Yeah, it's enjoyable. It was definitely an interesting take on the traditional trivia game where it's a little bit of not just trivia, but you're also playing kind of like the board and trying to get points and you're guessing. And it kind of makes it a little easier to guess because you know half the answers are correct, so you don't have to like come up with the answers. But the answers usually are so diverse and so not obvious that it's still interesting. And so even if you don't know the topic, you can still guess. Depending on what the die roll is, you're incentivized to guess. So it has a lot of stuff. So even if you're not quite sure what the answers are, you can still be in the game.
Oh, definitely.
So I like it. I like that idea.
So would you take it to a party?
Yeah, definitely.
Very good. I'll move on. Let's go to Rocky next.
Yes.
What are your feelings about this in general? And I would say, especially because you've been around the physical copy.
Yeah.
Nobody else has. We played it on Zoom so that we could do the show. So especially touching the pieces and stuff. How do you feel about it? Would you take it to a party? Do you like it in Zoom? Do you like it in the real world once we're in the kind of post-Zoom world where we can see each other again?
Well, I don't really have experience with it over Zoom because I was there in person.
True.
So, but the chips are very satisfying in person.
Yes.
Very thick and very heavy and lovely. But I would have to say that sitting through the description of the game at first, especially with the, by the way, Ken Jennings helped make it, I just went, oh no. And then the description made me go, no, why did they make this more complicated than it needs to be? But then once we started playing, it was much more straightforward than it sounded it was.
Yes.
So that helped a lot. I did enjoy it, really, because you don't have to know all of it, and there's no penalty for guessing. It's just no progress if you get it wrong. But there's no penalty for getting it wrong, like, say, Jeopardy.
Yes.
And I was able to get very decent progress. I think we played a game, the first game we played of it, where I was pretty much just putting in a single answer and not going for any bonus points, but just focusing on moving along the track to try and get one that I probably sort of knew.
Yeah.
To move along the track and get the points that way. And I believe I did really well that way. So you don't have to go all out and like know all the things.
No.
So I enjoyed it, and I think I would take it to a party, and I think doing it over Zoom was successful, even though I wasn't one of the people over Zoom.
Well, we'll talk to some of the people that were over Zoom in a moment. I will say, to kind of go to your point, normally when you have that reaction to a game, specifically you, Rocky, this is a me, Bruce, you, Rocky moment. Yeah. When you, Rocky, have that reaction, I normally roll my eyes and try not to slam my head into a table. Okay. When you're like, oh, it's so complicated. And I'm like, no, it's not. This was one of those games where when you said it, I'm like, it's simpler than you think it is, but I read those rules 15 times to understand, because every time I was like, but that's points. No, that's not points, Bruce.
Right.
But the four's points. No, it's steps on the track towards points. So it's points. I award points now, right? Yeah. No, Bruce, you award points at the end of the round. But so then what are the four? But the 4 steps are points, right? No, Bruce, the 4 steps are a chance towards points. And when someone gets to the end of the track, then you'll award points. And for some reason, that took me read after read. I can explain it very easily now, but it is like, it's hanky in the strangest way.
Yes, like they had to work very hard to turn it to gamify it.
Yes. And once you get it, you're like, oh, of course. I roll the die. It does the thing. I get a bonus if I do more. But for some reason, conveying that idea is a little something. So, Mike, I'm going to go to you next because you've had one play of it on Zoom. How did you feel about it on Zoom? What are your opinions on it? Would you take it to a party?
I really liked it on Zoom. It had a good mix of popular culture kind of questions that are kind of difficult for me, and sort of general trivia things that I was happy to see. And like Rocky said, it's nice that you can choose how comfortable you are with your answers, sort of by figuring how many of them you're going to guess. Like if you're sure that you have the 3 because you really know this thing, go all 3. You'll get rewarded for that. But if you're like, oh man, I really don't know anything about this, I'm just going to try for one and hope that I get the points on the die or the steps on the die and eventually get points for them. You can do that too. And on the other hand, you could get cocky, go for 3, get one of them wrong, and even the other 2 that you got right, you get nothing for because you pushed yourself too hard. So I think it's really well gamified by Richard Garfield. It allows you to do It's a sort of press your luck kind of thing, where you can get cocky and lose it all, or you can play it safe but not get quite as much. And at the same time, the questions I think are well constructed from the Ken Jennings side. So I think it's a well-made game. I think it lends itself well to the way we played it on Zoom.
Yep.
Only one person needs to have it. I'm a little surprised that it hasn't been digitized, that it hasn't been turned into an actual game like that you could get on a phone or Steam or something like that.
So it's a brand new. It hit Kickstarter about this time last year.
Okay.
It came out earlier this year to Kickstarter, and it just hit the marketplaces like everywhere. You like your local game stores and Amazon and places like that. It just hit there like maybe September.
Yeah, because
so this might be the kind of thing we're gonna see digitized in the nearest future.
I would hope so. If there's enough interest in it, it would be pretty easy to do, because you don't need a lot of graphics. There's no timing issues really, except for, as long as people are getting their answers in some kind of reasonable amount of time. It seems really easy to do. And it seems like it should be done. Also, that'd make it really easy to add content to it, add more questions. You could do it digitally, make those as additional download packs, as DLCs or something.
Yep.
And they could monetize it that way. It seems like a great idea to me. I hope that it gets done.
Plus, it would let you play more players. The game max right now is up to 6 players or teams, but there's nothing else restricting that other than not wanting to print more poker chips. And once again, I want to make it clear, I'm not knocking them for not putting more poker chips in there. I think 6 seems like a reasonable number, but you definitely could play more people with more chips.
Right. I mean, at this point, there's 18 chips in the box then?
36.
3 for each. Really?
Yeah, so each, and this was the thing everybody didn't see because they just saw what I was doing. But remember, Mike, you can answer any 3 letters, so you have to have them all available. So,
okay.
I'm showing Mike now, every one of them has a question mark, and on the back it has A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Oh, because you were describing it as having them in your hand, and hiding them that way.
What I think you could do is, and I'm showing Mike on screen, but I'll explain to all of you, is that I could say, this is the hand my answers are in, and I'm going to hide the rest here. So then my right hand has the answer chips. My left hand is tucked away and has the ones I didn't answer. And I can say I'm done and then reveal to you what my chips were.
And if you do it that way, though, you don't necessarily need, you would only really need 3 chips per player.
That would be unless a player wanted to answer A, B, and D. Or because if it had a double-sided...
Well, no, I guess you should have it so that they choose it ahead of time.
Yeah.
The way we were doing it was on the honor system, where we sort of read them out, what our guesses were in order.
Yes.
And we just didn't change them based on what other people were doing. But it's possible for someone who was, less honest about it, I guess, to change their answers after they see what other people had done.
Yes.
Unless you do it in that way with the chips that already have the letters on it and you can't change them. Yeah,
the actual live game, the game security, as it's called, is actually really very good. It's just not on Zoom because Zoom.
Yeah, and that's another thing that would be fixed with the digital version.
Absolutely.
But if you're playing with friends, you could do this on Zoom and whatever. If your friends cheat, then let them cheat.
Yeah, they clearly had to win a game of half-truth more than you did.
Yeah.
The other thing I would note, Mike, is, and I think this is super cool, and I think it's in what you're talking about it being so well constructed, is that not only am I playing the game, the trivia I know, I'm also playing the board, how far ahead people are. I'm also playing the die, because if it's one step ahead, I'm like, well, one step, one schmep. I might as well gamble and try to get some points, because even if I fail, I just don't go forward one step. That's cool. And then also playing versus your knowledge. There's so many little micro decisions you're making in one decision.
It's well gamified. It really is. I think Garfield did a great job of gamifying it. He made the decision about how many to guess, a tougher one. and the die roll matters and changes your strategy. I mean, if you know all three of them every time and are absolutely 100% sure, then it's not going to change anything.
Yes.
Because you're just going to guess all three every time and get them.
True.
But most people probably aren't going to. You'd have to know an awful lot. Like you have to be Ken Jennings probably, or at that level to get all of them and be that sure of it every single time.
And I'm kind of inclined to say that maybe even Ken Jennings wouldn't know all three every time. He'd sure know one of them every time.
Oh yeah, probably.
But some of these are just so obtuse and weird that, it may or may not.
And because you can't always be 100% sure of all three of them every time, it makes it more interesting and makes your decisions more impactful.
Indeed. So you take it to a party, Mike?
I would. I at this point, I would take it to a Zoom party.
Yes.
In the future, hopefully when all this has passed over, I would take it to an in-person party. At that point, I would hope that they would have some sort of an expansion for more than 6 players if you want to take this to a real party. But you can also play it in teams. So,
and I would imagine this is not a bad team game for up to 3 people per team.
Yeah.
It's the same way I feel about Wits and Wagers. I don't love Wits and Wagers with teams bigger than 3. Because 3 is just enough people that 2 people have different ideas and the third person can break the tie.
Yeah.
Same way I feel at 5. I also think 5 can work if everyone's friends. Bigger than that, it's an unwieldy team and people take a nap. Brian, so we'll have you back clean up here. How do you feel about it as a Zoom game? How do you feel about it in general? Would you take it to a party?
I like it as a Zoom game and in general.
Okay.
It's a nice twist on your traditional trivia game. Like, it's still a trivia game, but the mechanism is different enough. And like others have said, Garfield really did a good job of gamifying it, of giving you those little decisions so that because there's 3 different things going on. Do I know the answer? How many spaces do I move? And how many extra victory points do I want to gamble on? And all of those things are decisions that are going to every round, and no one of them is going to you're not going to break away from the pack and win by doing it right on any one round. So it's not like, there's a little pressure, but it's not a ton of pressure. It's always like, can I get a leg up a little on this one round and then maybe stay ahead of the pack? So I like that about it. The trivia is interesting. Like you said, it's obscure, but it's not so obscure that you're like, no one would know this. You're like, sure, I should maybe know this, but I don't. Or it's about a thing. Like there was one in the other game we played, the first game we played with the other group of friends. There was like a question about Game of Thrones, and for people who'd seen the show, it was easy, and for people who hadn't, I had no idea. And that's a modern stuff, but that also like reminded me of like how you said people can cheat because we were using the honor system.
Yeah.
Because in that example, I went after them, and if I had been dishonest, I had 2 of our friends knew the show and watched every episode, and I'd never seen an episode. And so if I went after them, I could have just picked the answers they picked. Whereas in person, this is where the letter tiles come in place, where I would have to pick my letters. And, that's a thing that could happen on Zoom. And I guess if you have a problem with that in your friend group and you know that it's always this one person, make that person go first.
Or here's what I would say out there. If you really want the fix, have each person make a set of tiles or papers or cards that have A, B, C, D, and E on them, or A, B, C, D, E, F on them, and have them present them to the camera. And you're done. You say to everybody, okay, now show me your letters. And they all present them, and then you lay them out on the board. That's there if you have that kind of game security problem.
Yeah, you could also say like, hey, everybody send a private message in chat to the host.
Yep.
And another thing I like about Zoom is, like you said, you have to have someone who's a dedicated host, but you can still play. Because some of these games where you have a dedicated host, that host can't play. They're just running the game. But this one, as long as you don't look at the back of the card, you can play the same as us. You have a little extra work to do as the host, but that's it. So no, I think it works really well in Zoom, which a lot of board game, party game type things don't. So that's a real big benefit. And then once it's real world, I think this is fun. It's simple. Like the mechanism's weird, but then it's like a lot of games, once you play one round, you figure it out. Yeah. And then you suddenly maybe 2 at most before you realize what gambling on extra points means. So yeah, I would absolutely take this to a Zoom party. I would take it to an in-person party. This is, I don't know if it's like a favorite game, but it's on a short list of like things I would consider. If we ever came out with that list of party game recommend things, I don't know that it would necessarily be on my like top list, but it would be, if you want a trivia game, this would be on the short list of trivia games you should take for me.
We should try to see if we can quickly cobble together a gift guide.
We've only been talking about making this list for 17 years since we started the podcast in the late 60s or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I remember it's the 70s now? Is that what you're saying?
It was the mini skirts, the bikini, and our show. It was right around then.
This is the 50s.
Yeah. It was the 50s.
Are you sure it wasn't like the hoop skirt?
Might have been the hoop skirt.
Flappers.
Might have been just that stick and hoop.
Flappers, yeah.
It is the 20s.
Yeah.
So across the board, yeah, maybe we need to work on that. I say here where everyone can hear us, and put together like a 6-game short list for this buying season. And on that 6-game short list, Half Truth would definitely be on there.
Now, would we have this list ready for our very next episode that they're going to hear?
So the very next episode they're going to hear, right now we're on Turkey Day, gobble gobble, as we told you. On November, there's going to be a later November episode, probably like the last day of November.
Because it doesn't get much later in November.
Which is like next week.
Yeah, so it's going to be 2 in a row. Maybe by the time the December episode comes out, this is something we could have together.
So it won't be in the episode we're recording later today?
It is an episode we are recording towards the end of December. So here's how it might work.
Yeah.
If you listen to the show for your buying suggestions, you might want to check our social media for the 1-page buying guide we're going to make, because an episode is probably going to come out, round about the 28th of the month for December. But we might have a buying guide in the middle to help you out.
Just in time for your holiday gift buying, December 28th.
Maybe we'll try and have that like tomorrow for Black Friday.
No,
Black Friday weekend. For Asmo,
which is totally tomorrow.
Yeah, I was to say, for your Black Friday game needs, just go to Power to the Meeple and take advantage of their Asmo Turkey Day.
Yeah, your Asmo Turkey Day, if you will. So yeah, there you go. Across the board, 10s across the board for this game, the Unholy Alliance of Richard Garfield and Ken Jennings. That was Half Truth, and also a long discussion about Jeopardy.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, it happens. I think we need to talk about it in these cases. And it shows you we're being topical, which is something we never are. Nope. Yeah, I know, right? I've been your moderator, Bruce. Joining me in the show has been Rocky.
Hello, gobble gobble.
Brian.
Gobble gobble.
Mike.
Asmo Turkey Day.
And Marty.
Hey.
And thank you so much for listening.